Ladies and gentlemen, the So What Morning Show has returned, and it is a show that's starring you. That's the name of that track.
Starring you.
A lot of people be asking me about where can I get it? You can't have it. It's an original piece produced by a friend of mine, Shafiq Hussein. He's a producer. Like I said, he produces a lot of stuff. Erykah Badu, he got his own record deal with Blue Note. You know, he's a cold cat. Cold track. It's the show that's starring you. Why is it starring you? Because we give out the number. We want to hear your opinion. 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. Once again, that's 323-965-1600. This is the So What Morning Show here on rmconair.com. And today's topic, a heater, another heater. We've got to keep digging deeper. We've got to keep going in on these topics because guess what? The only way to rebuild our community is through our relationships. You know, we got to recontextualize a lot of these negative beliefs that we have running on replay in our minds. Today's topic, the Relationship Currency Show, an in-depth look at the different currencies that should be used to build a powerful, long-lasting relationship other than money. How many of you guys believe that we overvalue money in relationships? We seem to think that if we have a lot of money, our relationships will be longer and better and more meaningful. And I know a lot of rich, miserable people that are in relationship. 323-965-1600. Are intimate relationships starting to look more like LLCs, limited liability corporations, right? As opposed to looking more like a spiritual school for the development of each individual soul.
I love your FICO score.
Most people are more concerned with a FICO score than they are the spiritual IQ.
I'd marry you, but we can't buy a house.
I love you, but does but negate the I love you part?
Oh, yeah.
If but comes after I love you, does it negate it? I'm just saying, 323-965-1600.
I love you so much, but your Lakers season tickets are in the bleachers.
Oh,
You can't get any closer?
wow.
Is that Kobe or a cheerleader?
Jeez. How far away are you?
Oh, my God.
Listen, we have a full house of OGs in the building. I will be getting to the introductions in a moment. But as is commonplace for the So What Morning Show, once again, let me give you the number, 323-965-1600. I encourage you to participate, call, share with us. Now, my books. Let me go to my first book. I quote this guy a lot. He's a good friend of mine. He's been on The Voice of Reason when I was on the Foxhole a few times. Incredible author, smart guy, New York Times bestseller. Why Mars and Venus Collide. Improving relationships by understanding how men and women cope differently with stress. Dr. John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Great book, incredible book. Please add it to your library. I encourage everybody to read. I'm tired of this dumbass culture we live in. Just read. Reading things and read the polar opposite of what you're reading. Did you know most books have a counter argument? If you're reading Christianity, read some atheism too. See what that's going to do to your understanding of Christianity.
I'm glad you cleaned that up. I thought you was going to have me reading Satanism.
Well, read that too. Yeah. Understand the blueprints of what's going on.
You got to understand your enemy's playbook.
Exactly. Right? Don't be afraid. Well, but then again, religion is about fear. Sorry. Now, here's another one. Great book. The Nature and Purpose of Disease. Come on, Doc. Definitive Guide for Peoples with Melanin by Henry L.N. Anderson. I mean, he's got a bunch of letters after his name. Author of Helping Hand, 8-Day Diet Program. It's a great book. Please. I read it. It's ridiculous. And a lot of people, just like when we did the show about black people being worried about going to therapy, right? Remember that? A lot of people have to understand black people are afraid to go to a therapist because they feel like the therapist doesn't relate to the black movement, the black experience, the black understanding. So a lot of black psychiatrists and psychologists went out and said, well, we do.
Yeah. We understand.
So y'all come to us. There's a whole movement out there that went against some of the other things.
Question, Doc.
Go ahead.
A prime example.
Can I finish my book? Hold on. Can I finish my? Remember?
Okay, I have a fantastic
Yes.
question. My
Thank
bad.
you. Yeah. Thank you.
My bad.
Thank you. Now. Geoff is throwing things. Listen, I don't have this book here, but it's important that you get it. It's by Michael M. Talbot. It's called The Holographic Universe. Please get this goddamn book because you need to expand your consciousness with regards to how you view the world. It's called an umwelt, right? Or a gestalt. Don't make me get off deep. It's an umwelt. But you need to expand that in order to see relationships differently. Everything isn't linear. Well, if I do this, you do that, and then we're here. No. There are subtleties and nuances, and you need to expand your consciousness. The Holographic Universe by Michael M. Talbot will do that. The next book, I'm not even going to tell you what this is about. Just get it. The Hiram Key.
The Hiram Key.
Coming to a theater.
Get the book. Put it on your coffee table.
It's a great book.
Look smart, for Christ's sake.
All right, here's another. This is a DVD set, right? Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers.
Great.
When I tell you this is hot monkey lava, trust me, this is something you must participate in.
Hot monkey lava.
This dude breaks down, the whole movement of myth, religion, culture. He was the one who said, this is Joseph Campbell, I'm telling you, one of the greatest minds, philosophically speaking, of our time. We have to get deep. This is the guy who said, marriage is not about a culture or it's not about a ceremony. He said, marriage is the actual recognition of the divine in another person.
Yeah.
And he was like, culture is a symbol, right? And he says, understand, a symbol is a sign. It's not the thing. Sometimes we overvalue the symbol and we don't have what the symbol symbolizes, right? So we make the symbol more important than what it symbolizes. This is excellent.
You're in the bed humping a sign. Humping a sign. I'm going to tear this sign's ass up.
Now, I told a bunch of people to go out and get a book called Prometheus Rising by Robert Anton Wilson. Within that book, there is an 8-circuit breakdown. Circuit meaning circuit of the brain, circuit of consciousness, right? Great book. Starts with the oral bio survival circuit, moves to the second circuit, which is the semantic circuit, moves to, it's a no, the second circuit is the anal territorial circuit. Then the third is the semantic circuit. Then the fourth is the socio-sexual circuit. It's talking about psychological circuits in the mind of development.
Go back to that.
Let me do this. Hold on. This book is written by Tim Leary. Got in trouble a long time ago for his LSD experiments. Real smart dude, hippie guy, consciousness guy. Great book. Your Brain is God. If y'all want to change your life, come see Zoe Williams' library. I'm saying if you want to change your life. That's all I'm saying. 323-965-1600. Your Brain is God. Excellent book that breaks down the 8-circuit system that he was talking about within brain consciousness. It's cold. It's very cold. Please check it out.
Anal.
All right?
Anal.
And, of course, this is the book that Phil Jackson gave Kobe Bryant. He told Kobe Bryant when he was younger, you're moving too fast. Slow down. You are so good that you don't have to chase the game. The game will chase you. You can control and manipulate the game by being able to consciously see things as they're happening instead of trying to affect the game. You in the game is affecting the game. So slow it down. Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. Anybody? I made my son read it. Come on, pimp. Sit down, read this here book, slow down, because he just wants to do it so bad.
Slow down.
Right? Great book. One next to the last book. Here we go. He's our guest today. Lazy Ass Nig. Not my truth. Not my truth. It's not my truth, it's the truth. By McKinley. This brother, right, is the host of a Wednesday show here, a monthly show. Maximize thy blackness, brother. Lazy ass nig. We gonna get you right. I promise we gonna get you right.
Lazy ass nigs. Coming soon.
To Magic Johnson.
One man, one couch, one joint, not doing a goddamn thing. Tyrone Biggs is the star of Lazy Ass Nigs, only at the Magic Johnson Theater. No one else will carry this fucking movie.
Also, another guest in the building with us today, Frederick Hawthorne. Ladies, this book is for you.
Just the title is bananas.
This your shit right here.
Woo!
Why did I sleep with him? This book will be coming out in April, but you can pre-order it now. He's a guest on our show right now. We're going to be talking about relationship currencies in a moment. You better get this book. How many of you have been driving home and said, what, Geoff?
With your panties in your purse.
Just as moist and crusty.
As crusty with last night's club clothes on. Why did I sleep with him? Now, it's a bunch of dudes in Hollywood that done got their careers further that can say, well, that's why I slept with him, because they made me a star.
Jesus.
That's not what this book is about. This book is about your trifling ass trying to figure out your shit. That question that'd take you an hour or more to get to, that a man get to that in 30 seconds.
Right.
In 30.
You thought sleeping with him last night would make you feel better.
Right?
How did that turn out?
Yeah. How you feel now?
You thought sleeping with him would make you forget about who you really love, huh?
Right.
Ooh, damn. How did that feel? Why did I sleep with him? You know why. Come on now. Shit. And my final book.
26s on this truck. That's why.
My book, The Rebirth of Seeds. Let me just say this. Let me just do this for The Rebirth of Seeds. There was a brother out of not Chicago, Detroit.
City.
Right? Brother's name is Kyrie Frazier. This right here, Hip Hop Leadership Workshop Series by Kyrie Frazier. He bought my book and sent me this. This is what the brother is doing in that embattled city. This is a hip hop workshop that he's bringing into high schools. Zoe is trying to inspire the world, but I need the world to help inspire Zoe. And it's these type of projects that do just that. So I want to commend and congratulate and show my appreciation and approval for this brother, Kyrie Frazier. Thank you for buying the book. Thank you for purchasing my book, but thank you more importantly for doing this for our community, man, because Detroit is in trouble and they need more brothers like you. So if you want a copy of The Rebirth of Seeds, please, 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 please email me 2319 Z as in zebra, O as in Oscar, 1 at gmail.com. 2319 Zo1 at gmail.com. That's my book selection. I'm bouncing. I'll be back. Intros. The Relationship Currency Show. Back in a second. Deuces.
horses, sweater meat.
Sweater
Making me
meat.
happy. High yellow making me happy. Put your high yellow pedicure toes on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, So What Mornings back in the building. The number to dial 323-965-1600. I need to hear your appearance. I need to hear your opinion. This is the show that's starring you, right? It's the talk show that listens. We want to hear your opinions on everything that we're about to throw out here. Now, let me introduce everybody that's in the building. Geoff Brown.
Sir.
Comedian, extraordinary, intellectual irritant. That's his role.
Jeff and RT should make an album. I'm writing that down.
That's what he does. His job is to question us and probe and just derail everything we're trying to do.
Go back to
positively.
high school. I'm that nigga in the back of the room. Ain't gonna never be shit. Just disrupting class.
That's not true, brother. Too smart for that. And of course, author of Just Listen and Real Influence, internationally known superhuman smart doctor,
Yeah.
Dr. Mark Goulston in the building.
Wait till he busts his mouth open, y'all. Y'all ain't ready. He's always coming.
What up, Doc? Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Smart people listen more than they talk, so I'm just staying quiet here.
You will not.
Okay.
You will be forced to speak. Now, and of course, we have our guests in the building. Wait, before I introduce this brother, let me introduce legendary guests. I got to give props to where props is due. This is the kind of, listen, young men need older men to mentor them.
Absolutely.
And then medium young, when I say medium young, I mean men who are out in the world doing things need older men to mentor them. And each level down, our job is to create a chain of mentorship. I just want to introduce one of my mentors.
Right on.
Without further ado, good friend of mine, Bobby Glanton is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Bobby. Say
Peace, two fingers. I'm glad to be in the deep end of the intellectual pool.
There we go, man. Let's
right,
get
brother.
action. Let's get action, man. That's what I'm talking about. Also, a brother here who has a show here once a month, every Wednesday. He's in the building as well. His show is called Maximize Thy Blackness. We know him as Mackenzie. Welcome to the McKinley. Welcome to the show, my good friend. Thank you for stopping by, man. What's happening?
Oh, the pleasure's all mine.
Nah, man.
Oh, man, he got the Lou Rawls on. Sound like I want a Michelob right now.
Nah, man. Check this out, though. We had a talk with him a little earlier. He got some game he gonna lay down on us, man.
What? You ain't telling me ain't nobody left McKinley's house asking theyself this question. Okay? It's a whole bunch of sisters don't eat. Where's Mac? You say Mac around they shake.
Now, and of course, author of Why Did I Sleep with His Trifling Ass? No, Why Did I Sleep with Him? Frederick Hawthorne is in the building with us.
Thank you, Zoe. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ladies, I know you're going to be pissed off, but it's okay. It's very imbalanced. There's no female voice here, and we're not good.
Good!
They just get mad. It's-
Those wenches. Leave them outside with the horses. We shall have no wenches in here today. No foolishness, no tomfoolery. From the wenches.
So,
Brother went Shakespearean.
let me do this. Let me hit you guys over the head with some questions so you guys can understand the aim and the goal of this particular show. And I asked this question earlier. Are intimate relationships starting to look more like LLCs or corporations? Right? Should they look more like spiritual schools for the development of each person's soul? Isn't that the real purpose of relationship? Or has business, because everybody will tell you a marriage is a business deal. I'm just saying, is it more business than it is spiritual? 323-965-1600. I have more questions. All right? Just come with me now. Can disagreements over money stop even the best relationships dead in their tracks? Why does money have such an influential power over our relationships? And by putting money at the forefront of relationships, are we not for sale? 323-965-1600, right? What thoughts and behaviors create relationship debt and perpetually drain relationship currencies? Can you name 3 currencies that are more valuable to relationship than money is. I'm just saying. We had Claudia Jordan in here last week talking about we need to eat.
Oh, my God. What a train wreck that was.
I'm just saying.
Sweet Lord.
I'm just saying, I believe we come from a space of material poverty and material aspiration, and we blunt out the spiritual purpose of relationship. Sometimes the spiritual purpose is seen as trivial.
Right.
It seems as that's just the icing for the money cake I want to have.
Right.
323-965-1600, right? Let's talk about it. Are money issues in relationships really about money, or are they self-esteem and control issues guised as money problems? I want to control the purse strings because I ain't never controlled shit in my life. 323-965-1600. Somebody call me right now. This is the Relationship Currency Show. And what about child support? Pay-per-view. You can't see your son because you delinquent on that money.
Pay-per-view?
Now let me ask you this. Isn't a father's presence more valuable to a developing young boy than money? Now, money is great, and I'm not marginalizing money. We need money to go, man. We need money to move. When you look up the word affluent, it comes from the same word as flu, influenza. All it means is flow, right? It's a flow. It is money is the social lubricant of life. If you have it, you flowing. If you don't have it, screeching halt. So now I'm not trying to marginalize money, but have we put too much fucking emphasis on it? 323-965-1600. Let's go to this topic right now. We have James on the line. James, line one. James?
I just wanted to say, when it comes to money, we have become financial hoarders, so to speak. You know, so we want more money, so we lose more love. We don't even have home training, you know, so we just want money. You know, if you say to somebody today, hey, what you're doing over there is wrong, he's going to say to you basically, well, I'm making money, though. It don't matter.
Wow. Good point. Good point.
So
Man.
we've lost respect, you know, for each other. And, you know, it's just home training, man, you know. When you walk into somebody's house, you're supposed to say hi. But these kids nowadays, they will walk into your house and just look at you.
Wow.
For you to say hi to them, you know, so.
Wow.
We lost manners, man, you know.
Wow. James, let me do this, James.
Yes,
the lines are hot, man. You just hit off a lot of stuff. Manners is a currency. Respect is a currency. Thank you, James, for that call. I appreciate it very much. 323-965-1600. In this country, let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Because I got a question here. If black men and women were judged in world currencies, which world currency would represent black men to black women and vice versa? I posted this question on Facebook and I had a bunch of women say black men are worth pesos. And then I had a bunch of black men say black women are worth food stamps, EBT. Somebody help us with this enmity. What are some currencies that we need to focus on in building better relationships? Dr. Mark Goulsto, speak to us about relationship currencies that are more valuable than money. I'm going to go around the table.
You know, you bring up something about the money, and the thing is, people don't do what's important to them. They do what they care about. It's important for me to exercise, but I don't care enough about to do it. And if you want to find out what people care about, check out their credit card. Check out what they spend their money on. And a lot of times why people are so focused on money is because that tells you what that other person really cares about. And sometimes what they care about ain't you.
And from the free throw line with a blindfold on is a 360 dunk.
God, and draws the foul.
And gets the 3-point play.
Okay.
Fred.
That's all good.
Thank you, Joe.
Fred?
In addition to the money, I think what reigns paramount in relationships is the understanding of testosterone versus estrogen. And I think the functions of testosterone and the functions of estrogen are polar opposites. They can never be equal. So when a woman says, I would rather understand a man, they should say, I want to understand the functions of testosterone. That's why he's angry.
Wow.
That's why he's an expert. That's why he's failing. That's why he's working a second job. That's why I'm a stay-home mom. And versus estrogen, when a man comes home and the wife is home taking care of the kids, he needs to understand that's why she's soft. That's why she loves me.
Wow.
That's why my dinner's ready at 6 p.m. That's why she's working a second job. That's why she's a soccer mom, and so on and so forth. So money plays an essential role, but understanding our own DNA, which is men testosterone, women estrogen, reigns paramount in a relationship.
Excellent point. Excellent
That's
point.
great. Whoa.
Let me go to my brother over here, Mackenzie.
McKinley.
McKinley. I keep saying Mackenzie.
Just call him Mac.
Mac.
No.
You ain't okay.
McKinley.
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 Yes, sir.
You don't know me that good. Ain't about
No.
ain't about 11 niggas on the earth call me McKinley. You ain't one of them. Call me Mac. You call me.
No, my mother gave me the name, and growing up, I didn't like it. But then when I met my
Yeah.
mother, I found out what it meant. Yeah.
Wow.
I found out what it meant, and I fell in love with the name. Yeah.
There it
Ever
is.
since then, it's like if you write me a letter and you put a baby K, I'll write you a letter back and tell you don't send me no letter with a baby K again.
I love that. Go on and grade their letter. That's what I do. You try to send me a bullshit letter, I grade it. Dangling participle, C-. Go ahead, my bad.
Go ahead.
Now, as you was saying, like, okay, like the money, the whole concept about the money is this, okay, as I always be speaking, it's always go back to the Willie Lynch thing. See, the whole Willie Lynch thing is about the woman being in control so she can tell him what to do. See, as a mother teaches her son, she teaches him go to school, mine. Go to college, mine. Get a job, mine. Get a wife, mine. Did you tell the daughter the world is yours? But it's a direct contradiction to the beginning of what the book say. Wow. The world is ours, and we bring forth the woman behind us to elevate her because it's her job.
Wow.
You know, as far as money go, the emphasis is on money to keep us separated. That's why the black look at Oprah. Oprah, much love for Oprah, but look what she did when she went to Africa.
What'd she do?
She opened up a school for women. Why she didn't open up a school?
For children.
No, exactly.
Boys and girls.
No, she opened up a school for women. She didn't open up a school for children.
But it's still a great thing to do, yes?
Exactly, but why not everybody? You understand what I'm saying? Because with the Willie Lynch syndrome, the woman is trained and programmed to tell the black man. The average black woman would tell the black man, you don't know what it is to be a man. Now, if you say that to a black man, he ain't gonna say that to a woman. He'd be like, what did you say?
Can a woman even make that statement? You don't know what it is to be a man?
Yes, they can, because they've been programmed. That's what Willie Lynch is all about. They've been programmed to do that. That's what they do. My daddy, my uncle, they all told me what it is to be a man, and you ain't acting nothing like a man. But no black man ever walks up to a woman and say, you ain't acting like a woman.
Wow.
We don't do that.
Wow. Bobby?
Well, as I sit here and just, soak in the various perspectives, I thought of an example of human capital. I have a couple of friends. One is a young lady who is a professional, and her husband is a blue-collar worker. The reason they were able to get married and have been married for about 10 years now successfully and happily is because she saw the inherent value in him as a human being and as a person who had skill. He had skills. He didn't have no money, but if something needed fixing, she didn't have to call somebody to fix it. And she grew in her appreciation of human capital. So I think as we reassess who people are to each other, we have to create our own value system and not rely on these traditional forms of measuring people and relationships.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah. Jeff
Brown.
I really don't. Wow. No, I ain't even gonna say nothing ignorant. I don't think. Sometimes. It is so refreshing to hear that from cats that are ahead of me, so to speak. Most cats ahead of me don't understand that very concept, I'd look at it like this. James in Florida Evans.
Good time.
Good times. They ain't never had no good times, but that's what they named the damn show.
They got close. Every episode.
It was damn near close. But the one thing you never saw on that show was anybody disrespect either one of them, the male or the female, and either of them disrespect one another.
Now that's my wife, Jack.
Yeah.
you hear James say that a couple times. Now who you talking to, Jack? That's my wife.
Looked like he was in John Amos. Just shout out to John Amos.
John Amos.
Did you see Uptown Saturday Night?
Of course.
I did.
Oh my God. Who else loves to see John Amos run? Run. Somebody finna get their ass whooped when John Amos run out.
Hey, but look what money has done to the relations between black men and black women.
Oh my
and I'm not going to, and it's just not just black men and black women, it's men and women, period. But you know what I hear out of black women's mouth that I don't hear out of white women's mouth? Love ain't enough. It takes a certain level of poverty to rebuff love.
Wow. Wow.
Do you understand?
Wow, how bad is it?
Damn. Wow. When love ain't enough. Now understand how this works. The judicial system becomes the parent, right? We already know that there are judicial gender biases across race. But when we look at black men, we already know that the legal system is at war with the black man. Always has been since he's been here. Sorry. If we poot walking down the street, that's 25 years. You understand? So with that being said, what we now need to do is recontextualize what these currencies are. I believe the most important currency in relationship, the caller, James said, is respect. Instead of having a religion of Jesus and Buddha and Allah and all of, maybe our religion for relationship should be respect. But we can't get there. Go in, Doc.
Maybe there's a connection between, because I think that a lot of people think about money as you're either responsible or you're irresponsible. And so maybe if you find someone who you think is just being irresponsible, you're not going to respect them. And if you're spending money on bling instead of on your kids or your family, then you're not being responsible. So maybe the issue here is it's not so much the money. I think when women put down men, what they're really saying is you're not being responsible. I mean, you don't have the right priorities. You shouldn't have had kids if you didn't want to be responsible to them. So I think maybe that's the connecting point between
that is a
money
great
and
point.
Go for it,
Geoff Brown.
I'm going to have to hit that back, Doc.
I'm gonna have to smack that back.
This is a prime example of what we was talking about earlier with white psychologists that don't understand the black experience. Like, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Does the term mama nim mean anything to you?
Mama nim.
Come again?
Mama nim. Okay.
Educate me. I am the ignorant white man on the show.
NIM is a group of people.
NIM is a bunch of people.
Okay, when I tell my wife I am going to do radio with Zoe Nim, that means you, the poetess, Chuck Doe, with just Nim. Okay? Now, I'm going somewhere with this whole taking you down the Nim road.
Go ahead.
When you say a woman is a black woman is purely upset when she says that you're being irresponsible with your money and this is why we are having the issues, you are leaving out the black woman that goes, you know what? Keisha and them just got a new Lexus.
Yeah.
This is a 2004. I am telling you, I personally can pull up 15 black women in this phone alone that follow that paradigm that if we keeping up with the Joneses, that has, you don't understand. On a
that ain't just black. That goes on the white community.
Yes, but here's the problem with that. For every dollar a white man has, a black man has 11 cents. So it becomes it magnified. There are no problems that you consider blanket social that are not integrally magnified when you put them on black people.
McKinley.
I can't think of one.
McKinley.
Yeah. What you just saying there, back in the day, look at the minimum wage. Now, when the population was predominantly black, you couldn't get the minimum wage to go up. The minimum wage, they steady raising the minimum wage as the population is becoming less and less black. I seen 3 Mexicans around the 3x3 hole. And at first I was like, that's cool. I see them unity. Then I thought of later on, wait a minute. They weren't allowed to meet us 3 black men to do this because it's a waste of money and one of y'all can do it. You see what I'm saying? You're making sure that these people have money and elevate, whereas you're making sure I don't have nothing. Yeah. The black man, how many people know that the black man created the toilet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay, if he created the toilet, what else did he create? The plumbing. But when you look at the plumbing, you know how many black plumbing companies you ever seen? See what I'm saying?
It's not a few. It's not a lot of them.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. We create, but we don't manufacture and keep it going. And that's why we don't have nothing. The black man invented wrench, but all you hear about is Sears and Roebuck. Excuse me?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
See, all this stuff. Henry Sampson invented the cell phone, but all you hear about is Orientals.
You're getting awful close to my Uncle
No,
Bobby.
he's going deep. He's going
Uncle
deep.
Bobby said the black man invented
Yeah,
everything.
I want to tie into this from another perspective. The first book I wrote, Let's Go to Work, The Millionaire Chronicles of Leon T. Garr, who will be 99 years old on March 24th. And so eventually I want to bring him into the studio because
Absolutely.
we all advance our knowledge by, going further into the pool of people who came before us.
Exactly.
But in the book, Let's Go to Work, Mr. Garr talked about one thing. He said, if you want to make money, you got to make friends. And then when you look at making money from that perspective, it changes the paradigm because you're no longer caught up in just money for money's sake. Because the first thing that he did when he started to acquire money, and this man got enough money to burn a wet dog, and he has always used money to develop people.
Don't even try to figure it out. Don't try to figure it out.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Apparently.
Got a lot of money. Enough money to burn a wet dog.
Do you know how much money that takes to burn it? See, and I hate to.
First the money got to dry the dog.
Okay.
He got it dry.
My grandmama had a bunch of them. Oh, yeah. Baby, a cow need his tail more than once to fan flies. I'm like, wow, we live in Chicago. We don't have no cows. We don't have a fly problem. What is she?
Finish your point,
Yeah, burn that dog. Go and burn
What
that
Mr.
dog.
Garr made is that he used money to develop people, and he became passively wealthy because he would be at home when other people was out producing wealth for him. And as he grew older, he told me just last week they did a premiere of a film that Antoine Fisher has done about the book. It's called This Life of Mine. And as Mr. Garr sat there in front of the screen, and I watched people come up to him, and he's still reading people at 99 years old. And at a segment in the film where they talked about his relationship with his wife, and what was important was the fact that they had an appreciation for each other. He had very little education. Matter of fact, he had a 3rd grade education. But he proved in his lifetime that you can have more degrees than a thermometer and still not find your way out of a one-room apartment with an exit sign over the door. So his wife was
God damn it.
an humble woman who could have gotten anything she wanted materially. But what she enjoyed the most was being a mate. Not somebody in second position, but a mate. She took care of the books. She gave him advice in terms of how to deal with certain situations that was beyond his educational construct. But they were a team. They were a partnership, and they were married for nearly 60 years. And even to this day, when you mention her name, she's been dead a few years now, he said, I miss my Maddie. So when you go back and you talk about reconstructing relationships, it has to start with a mutual understanding of each other's value.
You bring up a good point. How can you be respectfully critical of someone?
Wow.
Yes.
You can do that very easily by being honest. I mean, people don't want to hear the truth, and that's why friendship is not really friendship. If you can't tell somebody the truth.
But see, this goes back to the point we made before on the Corey Holcomb show. Women and men got to stop dating and marrying their ideas. That's what people value. I'm valuing my your potential. I'm valuing my idea of who you're going to be. I'm valuing what I think you should be. And then what you're actually doing is making a commitment to a concept and not a person. You're going to have to learn that love comes via acceptance of the person. But you can't accept another until you've accepted yourself. So there are a lot of broken shards trying to get together and make a full mirror, not knowing they're just cutting each other. That's it.
That's real deep.
Yeah.
Okay, two things to you two brothers. No disrespect to the white man in the room. There is nobody more interesting, more funny, more insightful than older black men. Swear to God.
Yeah, you gonna get that whole uncle energy.
Oh my God, that whole uncle energy.
Here, sit down, boy.
Yeah, let me tell you something, boy. You hear what he said? The kind of, you know, the old black men that talk to you, but they won't look at you. Okay, boy, you need to stay away from them women. You need to stay around. Okay, something he said. That man said, "I miss Maddie." There's a key word. There's a key word right there.
I miss Maddie.
That old school sister name. If you can find a sister with my
Emma, you find
you a Maddie or Eleanor? My wife's middle name, baby, don't get mad at me, is Coretha. When I heard that, yeah.
Coretha, bring your ass.
That's a good woman right there. Let's get Felicia.
No. He call her Fee. Fee, get over here. Fee, make some of them eggs you got.
Let me call Fee in here.
But again, we've lost that connection because we've lost the art of respect, the art of real value. We value superficiality over the substantive movement of a developing person.
I'm gonna ask,
Wait a minute. We have to we got to take a quick break because Chuck Doe is telling us we got to take a quick break. But we'll be right back and we'll get to callers and we'll get to Dr. Mark's point. Please don't forget that point. 323-965-1600. Call lines. We're going to come to you. I promise you we'll be back in 2.2 Relationship Currency Show. So What Mornings. Be back in a second.
Hey, are you tired of those same old energy drinks with bad taste? Make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products with a guaranteed no aftertaste. Make a switch to Pitbull Energy Drink. Pitbull offers more energy with ginseng and vitamins B6 and B12. With a ginger ale lemon lime flavor, Pitbull meets the consumer's demand for better tasting and healthier energy products. For more information on Pitbull energy drinks, bars, and mixes, visit their website at hiphopbev.com. That's hiphopbev.com. Online orders available at hiphopbev.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, So What Mornings back in the building, the Relationship Currency Show. That's what we're doing. What currencies are being depleted or being built up in your relationship? And what do I mean by currency? A lot of times in America, being a corporate capitalistic society, right, we overvalue money in the building of positive, meaningful, long-lasting relationships. I want to talk about currencies that supersede the value of money. And let's ask yourself a question. Is your relationship low on those currencies? 323-965-1600. The doc was making a point as we were going to break. Dr. Mark Goulsto, author of Just Listen and Real Influence, talk to us about the point you were making, sir.
Being the only white person in the room, I want to ask the black people. I want to ask the black guys something. So there's two words that white men can't stand, and those two words are relationships and relate. And I think they can't stand it. It sounds too soft, and I think the reason they can't stand those words is for you to relate to another person, you have to give up being right. You have to let go of your here to go to their there to relate to them. And a lot of people hold on to where they're at, their agenda, and they don't want to let go of it. They feel lost without it. So I don't know if you can relate to that. But those words, I work a little bit out in the business world. They can't stand the words relate and relationships. They roll their eyes. And I think it's because they have to give up themselves. They have to give up being right. And I wonder what you guys think about
Fred Hawthorne, answer that.
Thanks, though. Before you get to relationship, you have to know the root of self. Personal accountability. What makes you tick? You have to know your strengths as an individual before you can relate to another human being. And
I'm sorry. Not that I disagree, but I think that it goes a little, just a tad, I just want to piggyback just a little bit, then I'm going to throw it back to you,
Sure.
Fred. I think you can relate, it just won't be comfortable.
will not be comfortable. Will not be
Because
comfortable.
the design of relationship is to expose what you are unconscious of about yourself. That's what it's there for that. Most people think it's there for, let's go to Denny's and watch a movie and cuddle. And no, it's there for you to get a kind of self-curriculum by interacting with another person. Go deeper.
A relationship can be a reflection of self and can be a reflection of a greater self. But in order to reflect a greater self, you have to know self. And what I'm saying is, if you want to take Lisa out to dinner, you have to know what makes Lisa tick, because you're trying to create a connection with Lisa. You're not just trying to take her to dinner. You're trying to wake up with her the next morning. In addition to waking up with her the next morning, you want to make sure you have lunch with her. And then you want to go to dinner again. And then you want to wake up the following morning. So in order to extend Lisa's moments, know self. And that creates relationships because she can identify with self because everyone's different.
Right.
And that's the greatness of every human being. Differences connects us. In addition to the similarities, the differences. I want to know more about Zoe. I want to know why Doc is so intellectual. How many books has he read?
Right.
How many journals has he kept? That's our differences.
Right.
And the more differences I know about him, the greater self becomes.
Right.
Let me ask you, Frederick,
good stuff.
because this, again, I've been in your shoes trying to get people to know themselves, and they roll their eyes about that. So, why does it matter to know about yourself? I'll just be the devil's advocate. Or why don't you
great
talk
question.
about how you learned that knowing about yourself was the only way to break through from where you were stuck?
Well, growing up, like I introduced my book I was a bastard long before my father's casket. And now, before you read the book, you must understand that concept. Now, I was a broken down man. Mom, dad, abusive language. Mom did drugs, dad did drugs, but dad never came home. See what I'm saying? So the only thing I knew about women was to abuse them. Now, I'm a pacifist innately. So the only way I knew how to abuse a woman is to tabulate them. I need to have sex with Lisa, Michelle, Miranda.
You've turned them into cum receptacles. I got it.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely. And I had and I'm not going to say.
The sperm count's a little high.
What a cum thought is? Go on.
And I can't say for a moment that I didn't enjoy it. But when I met a woman that can make me whole, I had to identify self immediately. Step one began at that very moment.
Let's go deeper. Not to disagree. She doesn't make you whole. The knowledge of who you are makes you whole.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
And that's why it took 18 months. See, it took me 18 months for my wife to say, I want to go on a date with you. You know why?
Where'd you go to Phoenix? You went to Phoenix? You studied that at University of Phoenix? One of them accelerated courses? Because most people take a long time. He took 18 months to learn himself. Damn.
But in addition, I was afraid to give up self because self was so successful at conquering women.
I'm going to Bobby Glanton.
Okay. I wanted to deal with the question that you asked originally about relationships and relate from the white perspective. The 1% as they now commonly refer to the power elite, most of them are white men, and the other 99% of white men are emulating the behavior of the 1%. So that 1% doesn't have to relate because they have the power. And once that has been, it permeates through our common mentality, then it wastes over into all other demographics of our population as it relates to race. But since the white population is dominant in most perceivable ways, when you start talking about relationships, you didn't have to have them because you had the power.
That's a good point.
That's a great point because that speaks of classism. That speaks of... Well, this is what people don't understand.
Relate to you? What am I doing that for? I'm about to buy Michigan, bitch.
I don't even have to connect
me
with
some
you.
juice and liniment.
You are here as a trophy robot. That's it. Let's get these callers on. Jay Nasty, line 2, you're on.
What's good, all to the panel?
What's happening, man?
What from another mother?
All right,
good,
brother. All right.
But just going back to the original topic, as far as money is concerned, I gotta even stand up for this. But I have a nonprofit organization, and I see so many women that come to my facility, bringing their kids there, and they're on food stamps, TANF, whatever have you, where they get money from the government. And when I say, well, okay, I may ask, or they may even volunteer the information, where's the father? And then what they always say is pretty much the father ain't shit, the father ain't this, father ain't that. But I have so many times where the father finds out where their child is, and they come there to see their child, see the progress, and sitting there building a computer, sitting there doing their homework, things of that nature. So it's pretty much, I'm not trying to really blame women like that so much, but it seems like it's a fucked up situation. And I already told my situation. You know what I mean? As far as my baby moms or my son's mother, excuse me. But anyway, she will not allow me to see my son. I pay amount of money I'm not even court ordered to, but I still pay that money because that's my seed. That's my son.
Right. Jay, Jay, we got other callers, man, but I appreciate the call, and you're touching on something that's very, very important. I believe that fatherly presence is as equal or maybe even more important than just the money you pay. The fact that he's paying the money, that means he's taking care of his fiduciary responsibility for this child. If you consider yourself a good mother, you would want that child to know and be in the effulgence of his father's presence.
Damn how good she is. Hit me on Facebook, Jay. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. I just got 50% custody of my kids.
Amen.
He said, damn her.
Damn her. You got to quit thinking about that heifer, okay? Show you exactly what you got to do. Hit me on Facebook, Jay.
Woo! Damn. 7, line 1. You're on the phone. Talk to us.
What's up, man? I want to shout out the whole panel, man. Y'all doing great things, empowering us, men and women just on knowledge.
Thank you, brother.
The first thing I want to speak on is about the whole money situation, where you guys were saying, like, money in a relationship. I think, like, the media and then just the era we in, it's all about if you ain't tricking, if you tricking, you got it, or you ain't tricking it, you got it, and all that. So it kind of confuses the relationship. So guys think that they got to have X amount of dollars to get this girl because of a physical attribute, which might be her butt or boobies or whatever the case may be. And then you see all these TV programs, and if you're not smart enough to decipher that that's just a for show, And you got Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop, and all these other ones, and all these dudes just talking about money, and I like this girl because of this, and they don't really get to know the individual. And I think that causes confusion, too.
Wow. Wow. Great point. Great point. The superficiality of it all. Thanks for the call, Seven. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Geoff.
Attention, all black people under the sound of my voice who have either used or heard the phrase, "It ain't trickin' if you got it." With the exception of Michael Jordan, Bill Cosby, Tiger Woods, and maybe 20 or so other black people who not enough number, a small enough number to kill with one bus accident. You ain't got it. We ain't got it. Okay? We don't have it. When you look at money, you don't see your face. Ever. Wow. So you don't have it to trick.
Wow.
You tricks are fucking tricks.
Wow. So let me do this really quickly. There's another book I want you guys to go get right now. It's a textbook. It's written by 2 UCLA professors. It's called Intimate Relationships by Benjamin Carney. I've forgotten the other guy's name, but I think it's Bradford or something like that. Benjamin Carney. Intimate Relationships. It's a little expensive, costs $80. I went to UCLA's library to go get it myself, and it's a great book that breaks down. It's a relationship textbook that's been compiled from years and years and years of study of relationships. Newlyweds and couples and people who've been together a long time. It's a lot of information. Has an extensive glossary in the back. And it's great for you to be able to just read some things so you can get a contextual understanding or to be able to recontextualize your understanding of relationships. The reason why I mention this book is because Benjamin Carney did some research, and he breaks it down when we talk about money. He said the average relationship, first off, the highest level of divorce is in the second year, right? That's where it happens. The second year. After a year, maybe, he was like, okay, year 1, it would be whack if we get divorced after 6 months. Should we give the gifts back? I don't know. Okay, so let's just wait a year. Year 2, okay, shit, we tried. It was a year, we're done. So that's the highest number of divorce, right? But they've also done some research, some really good research on money's effect. And they say, on average, it takes about 14 years of marriage for rich people to divorce.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Middle class, 9 years of marriage before they get to divorce. Po folk,
on the way out to church.
6 years. On the way out to church.
Did your sister hit me in the face with some rice? Nigga, I'm done with you.
I'm done. So let me just finish the point, and I'm coming to McKinley. Money does have a profound impact. And you know what that impact and when you read this book, you'll see. Poor people are more stressed because they don't have money. And money provides one thing, leisure time.
Mm-hmm. It's privilege.
When you poor and you can't miss work, or because if you miss work, that's your job. Okay, listen. You
That's
said
all your money.
You said you could buff out the grease and fish remnants in these pots in this here restaurant. If you can't get paid under the table $85 a week, I'm gonna find somebody else. When poor people can't miss work, or if the kid gets sick and they don't have medical insurance and they gotta pay out of pocket and all this extra stuff that comes along with it, it really puts a stressful kind of energy over the relationship. So what I want to say again, there's research out there that backs the importance of money. Nobody is marginalizing money, but what we're saying is, have we suppressed these other currencies that will actually make a relationship more meaningful than just having the money? Because there are a lot of people and I see rich people who've been on vacation. I see rich people. We go on vacation every year. We never miss the cheese festival.
The running of the bulls.
Yeah. Where do you summer? I know a lot of those people.
I know, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
This using a season as a verb. I ought to smack the shit out of her. Summer.
But that's what I'm saying. I see a lot of people who say, yeah, I know, yeah, this is a nice little nook we go to down in New Orleans for breakfast. But their relationships are spiritually penurious, spiritually poor, right? They feel like because I have the money makes the relationship meaningful. And what I'm saying is, whenever you put money as the sole determining factor of the value of your relationship, you have also put a price on yourself. You're willing to deal with certain things because you live a certain kind of lifestyle, and that is more important than actually relating, as the doc said.
Absolutely.
Now,
Do you
go ahead, Doc.
I want to ask all of you, do you think that when people are stressed out and they feel powerless to come up with a solution, they blame each other? So that's really what the two people need to do is we need to find a solution together that we can both agree on and work. But if you both feel powerless and stressed out and you don't have that breathing room of money, you tend to blame each other. And then once you start blaming each other, one person gets defensive, the other person gets counter-defensive. It goes nowhere. And maybe the thing is, how do you get two people to kind of slow down and say, can't we find a way out of this instead of it being your fault? Do you think that happens a lot?
Wow.
I think you need the two people. It depends on which two people. If you're talking about the upper crust two people we were just discussing, then no, it's almost a non-issue. What has to happen is the people on the bottom rung.
That's what I'm talking about.
They have to redefine what the goal is.
We're going deeper. We're going deeper.
You got to redefine what the goal is, okay? If right now you are wearing my ass out because we don't live $150,000 a year apiece lifestyle, is the goal to have the accoutrements of that lifestyle?
The accoutrement.
Or is the goal to build that lifestyle? And if we are building that lifestyle, what do we do today? If you can't ask those kind of questions, y'all gonna both be, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No.
Would this be a missing link? Because this isn't a goal, but I think it's a first step. I think what two people have to do is to commit to not acting so disappointed in each other. Because when you act disappointed in the other person, all they do is defend themselves and they blame you, and it gets nowhere. Damn. And it's really tough to be in the face of someone who you think, oh, they're disappointed in me, and you can't have a constructive conversation. And so maybe you make
just broke the backboard.
Yeah, Doc, and Doc is right there.
It's glass. We gotta go to commercial while they sweep the glass.
No, and Doc is right there. Go deeper, man.
So if you make a ground rule, I know this couple who's been happily married, but they've both been married several times, and I said, what's the secret? They say, we have ground rules that we respect more than either of us being right.
Amen.
And the ground rule I think they have is that whenever either of them is feeling disappointed, they pause before they say something, because what they say is just going to put the other person on the defensive. And the person on the defensive looks like they're attacking when really what they're doing is protecting themselves because they just had their legs cut off.
And see, let me just the quality of your thoughts is the most important and powerful and valuable currency in relationships to me. Because when we empower a negative view of our partner, we are co-creating the destruction of the relationship, whether we're conscious of it or not. And most people, this is why I'm saying we have to recontextualize conflict in relationship. For me, conflict is the conduit to growth. We got to stop trying to run away from the pain that is inherent in building a positive, powerful, long-lasting relationship. Bobby Glanton.
I remember years ago, there's a brother named Harry Pickens who profoundly changed the way I think and view the world. And he told me, he said, that which you seek purely in your heart is also seeking you. And when he hit me with that, it undressed me in the sense that, I keep wanting certain things out of life without accepting the fact that I'm going to have to raise my hand. I'm going to have to raise my hand and expose what I want. And when it comes to attracting someone from the opposite sex, then I have to be real with myself about what is it that I'm looking for in a woman and what will I settle for. And that divide is what created the problem.
But see, that's a great point.
That created
I
the
believe
problem.
I believe a lot of people settle, right?
Oh my God.
For so many things. And what would make it easy to settle is if somebody that you're talking to has provisions.
But you know, that's when it gets distorted, because if you really know what you want and what you can strive to be as a human being, it releases that fear of worrying about money. Because if that person really digs you, man, it's gonna make your day, man. Because they're gonna let you know straight away. Look, I got it like that. That ain't the issue.
That's
Can
not
you
even the
deal with
issue.
this?
Yes, yes.
And you deal with the fact that I got more than you do on a material level. But you have to raise your own consciousness to the point where you know what value really is.
Right.
Because if you know what you're worth as a human being, then you don't have to take a back seat to money.
Right.
Because you already mentioned it earlier today.
Man, I can only write so damn fast.
I know, right?
Right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Fred.
When you know personal self, money becomes an attribute to a greater self. Now, what I'm saying is, he made a great point. And getting back to knowing self, when you asked the question, that gentleman highlighted who you are, made you become who you wanted to become. Now, when we bring up the topic of money, it's just a piece of who you are. You are greater than money. Your spirituality, your emotional component, your love of human beings, your love of family is all inclusive of who you are. Mm-hmm. Now, once you believe in yourself, you cannot be deterred. And that's the great thing about diving into a relationship. When you know who self is, the other person has no choice but to accept you. Wow. Because love or hate, that's who you are.
But let me add a little bit more. McKinley, go ahead. Because he was waving his hand.
You've been left me way long.
I'm sorry, McKinley. I saw you over there. Come on, McKinley, go in.
Anyway, it's like this to me. The most important thing about a poor person is you can get true love. She don't love you for your money because you ain't got no money. So all you got to do is communication. That's the most important aspect of any type of relationship. I don't care if it's two guys, two girls. And when I say two guys, two girls, I ain't talking about the homosexual. I'm talking about when you're related to anybody. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't realize me and you, we have established a relationship. Me and the poorest, we have established a relationship.
Right.
Even though it's a business relationship. And the most important thing about any relationship is communication. And that's where the whole thing comes about. It's a lack of communication. Right. Just like you were saying, we get this idea. Yes, she's this, she's that, she's this, she's that. And we got this concept, like you said, that this is who she is. Mm-hmm. And then when she ain't that, why she ain't that? Because you ain't communicated with her. You ain't sat down and said, hey, let me explain myself to you. You explain yourself to me. We talk to each other and get a total understanding so that we can elevate, just like you were saying.
That's a great point.
The best way to keep a relationship going, like the last real relationship I had, every time I got in problems with her, you know what I did? I went to my partner. Guess who my partner was? He was married 23 years. I don't need no psychiatrist. I need somebody that know how to handle a woman for 23 years.
323-965-1600. That's the number. Wow. Jeff Brown.
McKinley, I'm with you about 98% of that.
What's the other two?
The two is when you say communication is missing, I think it's what are we communicating about? It's just not even whether we talk or not. It's, okay, if we are talking about how to get here, but here isn't even the same place for us. We didn't even talk about, we need to be trying to get to the same place. If we're talking about the map of where we going, and you going, but this ain't the kind of car I want to ride in. Or your communication skills are aimed at me because I am your enemy, and I can't get enemy out of your face.
Wow.
I can't get you to see that we're on the same side of the court.
Wow.
Until I can get there, and you can see you seeing me on the other side of the court. Every time the shit hits the fan, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to swear. Every time the feces hits the rotary oscillator, you see me over there. Okay, let's get to the point. And if you can never see that, then maybe I don't need to be talking to you.
So let me do this. I'm gonna come to Jeff Brown. I'm gonna come to Mark Goulston. Mark, go ahead and finish this point.
I think what Jeff's saying is before you have communication, you have perception. And if you perceive the other person as an enemy, it's going to twist your communication to defend yourself or attack.
Wow.
And so maybe we have to pause when we're having a perception and ask ourselves, could I have this wrong? Could I have this other person wrong? Can I think they're attacking me when what they really are is afraid of me? Might that be going on? And that can change the way you're able to talk with them instead of talking at them, over them, or beyond them.
That's a great point. Yeah. Another book selection. Spiritual Psychology by the Hulnicks. The Hulnicks, a husband and wife team that put together a university in Southern California called, what is it, the University of Santa Monica or Santa Monica? USM, right? University of Santa Monica. They have a book called Spiritual Psychology. And one of the points in that book, which is so profound to me, is it's not the issue that is your issue. It's how you deal with the issue that is your issue. And I think once we come to that understanding, how you're responding to the conflict is your lesson and your purpose for being in that relationship.
Wow.
That's the science. And it ain't got nothing to do with money. I keep telling you, relationship is a spiritual school. We're talking about communion instead of communication. Where there is no communion, we are not communicating. The root of communion is union. I can't understand you without empathy. That's a currency, right? Most people don't even empathize with their partner when we run aground of their ideal of the partner. When we don't live up to that expectation, now we're enemies. And because we're raised in a contentious competition, kind of based culture, we automatically become enemies once we run aground of the idea we were dating. You see the problem with that, Bobby Glanton?
Well, there's one word that we've kind of not wanted to interject into the conversation that's appropriate now, and that's fear. Fear has more control over our lives than any single thing.
Society.
And I inject that now because when you can't talk about a relationship without talking about fear.
Right.
Because from the time we were young and first started having feelings for other people outside of our family, you go through that roller coaster of experiences. And at some point, if you're human, you begin to doubt when you should expose yourself to other people in terms of establishing relationships. And as you grow older, it's even more difficult to know the difference between when you're being real with yourself about what's breaking down, what's keeping me from having that fulfillment that I really want in my heart. And I know on a personal level, I didn't get to a point where I was comfortable taking that risk till I got old enough to know that there was a sense of urgency. If I keep putting this off, it may not ever happen. And I think it's important that young people begin to approach life understanding that it's okay to be afraid, but know why you're afraid and what you are afraid of before you ever even get into a relationship with somebody else.
And I think what Bobby is saying in another way, we must stop unconsciously praying to fear, contempt, and disappointment.
Go
ahead, Doc.
Sorry to play my white guy trump card, but Albert
Einstein.
The white guy
trump card? Wait a minute.
No. Albert Einstein, one of the things he said is one of the most important decisions you can make as a human being is when you're young and you decide whether the world is your friend or it's not. And I think the key is to be able to know when you're afraid, to be able to talk it out. There's actually research at UCLA that says that when you can actually put the right word to the right emotion, it lessens the activation in the emotional part of your brain so you don't react. So when you can say, I'm afraid to another person instead of coming off as angry, things change.
Wow, great point. We're about to take a quick break. And when we come back, more questions. The phone lines are open, 323-965-1600. This is the Relationship Currency Show. When I come back, the doc is going to have a list of currencies that are more valuable than money. 323-965-1600. We'll be back in 2.2. Holla!
said it's up in your guts now with the light-skinned girl on the boards. Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, latest record from Chintzy Jones. What?
Ladies and gentlemen, my new alter ego music name.
Chintzy.
Chintzy Jones. You think I'm
Shit,
playing?
man. Where's the melody? You know?
Oh, my God. Chintzy Jones?
So,
Chintzy.
Bobby said something that was very heavy, you know, about what you seek is also seeking you.
Yeah,
and that's something.
Almost cried.
Rumi. What you seek is also seeking you. Look up Rumi. Rumi is hella, you know, poet. You know, look up Rumi. Look up The Prophet by Khalil Gibran.
I read it.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent book. Listen, if you read the poem On Love by Khalil Gibran, he talks about how love whoops your ass. And he says it in the most eloquent way.
You don't say it like you just said it.
Right. No, he don't say it like I said it, but you know, he talks about how love will take you to the heights of all heights and the lows of all lows. What we have to stop doing is learning how not to struggle with each other when we hit those lows. We forgot how to learn how to love and struggle with each other. We think it's supposed to be all good. Disappointment is a part of our growth, and we have to welcome disappointment in as a house guest and show disappointment and hurt and conflict the hospitality it deserves. Because just because it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it doesn't have a gift for your highest good at the end of that treatment. Let me just say, conflict is like a constrictor. The more you struggle, the tighter it gets. So loosen up and allow it to come in and offer it a biscuit and some tea, and it'll leave with a gift. 323-965-1600. I have a question.
Go on, shoot. Give it to me.
I have a question, Bickle. In this country, whose negative appraisal of black men is the most consistent? White America or the black woman? 323-965-1600. We got a racist in the building.
That there's a trick question. You know, that one feeds the other.
Go deeper.
Who's more consistently negative toward who now? Black folks?
Is the American infrastructure, right, judicial, culture, police, law enforcement, is white America, the system that's in place, does white America have a more negative appraisal system in place of black men than black women do? Do they consistently negatively appraise us, or does the white system does?
No, we don't do it no more. I mean, the demise of the black man's on autopilot. You think we're thinking about that shit anymore?
Wow.
They got that all set up. The black women hate the black man, and they're all in jail. Now, hell, I'll tell you something's weird. There's some bullshit on the black side. You ever hear a black woman say, you know what, I'm a lesbian because I'm tired of men?
Ooh, go deeper, Bickle.
I don't care how many bitches repeatedly break my heart. I'm not taking meat stick in the cornhole. There is not enough heartbreak in a goddamn blues record to have me bent over in front of one of my friends.
Wow.
There's a bunch of horseshit soul sisters. And I love you to death. Speaking of which, if I may be allowed, I get to, I like the women of color. I'm only racist from the waist up. I'll tell you who it is that I'm really scoring big with lately there, Lord Zoe's the ladies of Latin descent.
Talk to me.
And I'll tell you what's got me doing it.
What?
Spanish love poems.
You got one?
I got one. I got one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
Felicia, POTUS, you don't have to have no slow music, do you? You got a little slow music you can play under me? Just a little something. Just some Charlie Pride or
Charlie Pride.
little Conway Twitty. You got any of that? Probably not.
Conway Twitty.
Porch monkeys ain't listening to that shit.
Wow. Go ahead, Bickle.
There we go. Listen here. Spanish. Love Poems in Spanish by Travis Bickle. Amor, amor. Amor, amor. Un habito vesti. El cual de vuestro pano fue cortado. El vestir ancho fue más apertado y estrecho cuando estuvo sobre mí. Después acá de lo que consentí. Tal permitiendo, I'm sorry. Permitiendo mi ha tomado que pruebo alguna vez de conjado.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next pope.
That's right. Y'all kiss the rain. Kiss the damn rain. You can keep them teenage boys to yourself. You can bring me some of them horny nuns up here. I'm going to read your habit and get you to starting another habit.
Oh, my God. Okay, so let me do this. Let me ask that question again. In this country, whose negative appraisal of black men is the most consistent? White America or the black woman? If the law of attraction is true, is she, the black woman, not creating her own self-unfulfilling reality by continuing to hold negative thoughts about black men? And I would also say that question goes vice versa. Black men, we hold some pretty negative thoughts about black women, too.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, black women get the brunt of ratchet and all of this and that. But black men, we haven't held up our side of the bargain effectively either. So we're called to the floor on this, too. Do we have a negative reciprocity cycle of demeaning, degrading, and disrespectful thoughts about each other that's created this negative cycle that keeps producing a negative experience for each other? If the law of attraction is true, Bobby Glanton, talk to me.
That's a rhetorical question that doesn't really leave a lot of room for me to respond other than to say you've answered that question before you ever asked it.
Wow! Let's go, Bobby!
But here's the deal, man. Here's where we are and where we can hopefully go. We can accept the fact that there's really only one race. We'll never look at it like that because we're that distinctive, and over too many thousands of years people have associated this or that with this race or that. But what we can do is deal with our commonality in the following way. I'm going to treat people the way that they treat me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to leave my baggage at the doorstep and expose it for what it is, baggage, and accept the fact that I can't ask a woman to be no more to me than I'm willing to be to her.
Wow.
And that means admitting I come with some speculation, some cynicism, but in my heart of hearts, I think we all, well, I'm going from I to we, I'll go back to I. Mm-hmm. I just want to be loved and cared for.
That's it. Appreciate it.
It's just that simple. And I'm not going to settle for anything less than that. I'm not going to let nobody talk crazy to me about what somebody else did to them, because that's on you. If you're still carrying that with you, I don't care how otherwise I'm attracted to you, I got to step away from that. And I think if we raise the bar to the point where we come to the door with who we are and what we really want out of life, then a lot of these other questions become secondary, because for a long time I was in that camp, it's the white man's fault, it's this woman's fault, and then about 22 years ago, I sat down with one of the greatest people I ever met, who ever lived, by the name of Jim Brown, and he forced me to go through the American Life Management Skills curriculum, and the first thing I had to do was change my thinking in terms of, it ain't no we at this table, it ain't no I mean, it's not no you or they. It had to come back through me, I. And that's why he named the organization America I Can, because I is not narcissistic when you're dealing in the world in which you only live in, and that's your world.
Wow.
And so I think we all had to accept more personal responsibility for what we really want, and it changes the dynamic of what we get out of life. The law of reciprocity kicks in at that point.
Absolutely. Brother McKinley.
Let me see. Sort of like what man was saying, you kind of like answered it, but at the same time, it goes like one more time. It goes all the way back to Willie Lynchism.
Yeah.
You see, okay, the black woman was born and bred to have distrust in the black man. Because like back in the days when the black man, like I say, we created, but we wasn't allowed to manufacture. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you can't manufacture, what are you lacking? Jobs. Mm-hmm. So this guy is creating he's manufacturing what you created. Now, your people, your wife, your family, and all them, they get nothing out of this. Because you ain't getting nothing out of it either. Mm-hmm. Now, when the woman looks at your creation in somebody else's hand and how they making all this money, who's she gonna look at? Somebody that can take care of her. We as a people, our problem is, okay, prime example, they're getting ready to get rid of the word Negro from the Census Bureau.
Really?
Yeah, because they said it's outdated. That's our problem. Mm-hmm. What is outdated? History, right?
Right.
So how all of a sudden, why is it every time it comes to me, it's outdated?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
What we call you will be changed from here on.
See, I call myself Black to the max, right?
From this day forward.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Negro.
Right.
No, I call myself Black to the max, but I am a Negro because without the Negroes, how can I call myself Black to the max? Because they the ones was out there on the front line dying, sacrificing everything for me to be able where I am now. So I'm supposed to, get rid of the word Negro. So if you So if you get rid of the word Negro, guess what? You know why they want to get rid of the word Negro? Because they got the new word, Latino. Yeah.
Wow.
Get rid of the N, because see, if you get rid of the N, now you got the L. Well, you got the L. As long as you got the Negro, you can say Negro came first. Get rid of that. It's the Willie Lynch thing. Like I said, when you look at that, you'll see what I'm saying.
Okay. Jeff?
Oh, well, I call myself...
And then Fred.
I call myself a Negro because all my heroes are Negroes.
Thank you.
It's the African Americans that fucked everything up.
He's right.
Go deeper.
Okay. Jackie Robinson, Negro. Kobe Bryant, that's African American.
Hilarious.
Who's another one? Martin Luther King, Negro. Al Sharpton, African American.
Wow.
I refuse to vote for a president that wears a perm. I don't care what color he is.
Right.
The founder of Motown Records, Berry Gordy, Negro. Founder of Death Row Records, Suge Knight. That's a nigga right there. That's a nigga. That nigga is crazy. That nigga is crazy. That's just how I put it. Let's put it where it is.
Oh, God. That's great, Fred.
Thanks, though. Just you asking that question leads me to believe that there is a dichotomy between black women and the white race as a whole. Now, if we want to find answers, let's go back to 1865. Mm-hmm. Now, we all as a race have accepted white names as our black names. Mm-hmm. Now, if Thomas Jefferson is fucking the shit out of a black woman and telling that black man in the slave hole that he's 5/8 of a man, that's where it starts. Thomas Jefferson is fucking the black woman. Having sex.
Swear no more.
Okay. Having sex.
Dr. Mark Goulsto.
Thank you. Having sex. Having sex with the black woman and telling her that the black man is 5/8 of a man.
Wow.
Now, Abraham Lincoln.
But
Yes.
But does that? Are you saying that tells the black woman that she's worth more than the black man because Massa is giving her the long sausage ride?
It's the genesis of
the pink sausage.
It's the genesis of perception. The genesis of perception in terms of black women. Mm. Now, if she's in the house and black man is working out on the slave, picking cotton, tobacco, and he's 5/8, you got to understand the concept of 5/8 of a man.
Go deeper.
Now, if I'm 5/8 of a man and I have 2 legs and 2 arms, why am I not your equal? Mm-hmm. But because Abraham Lincoln has to win this election, guess what? We're free. That's a fault in our system. Mm-hmm. Now, black women over the years have come to accept this fact that in order for us to excel, we have to accept and embrace the perception of this accelerated race. Mm-hmm. Now, this accelerated race is Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones in the Jones family does not exist because when you have a partner, as what this gentleman just said, the partner is on your team.
Right.
So the race goes as we go.
Right.
Now, I'm going to repeat what I just said. The race go as we go, as the partnership go. Now, when I step out of my home, whether I marry a black woman or whether I marry a black man, that truth that we walk out together is the genesis of new growth. Now, because we have tossed the money at the stripper down the pole, that's black culture.
Wow.
Not even close to black culture.
Wow.
Black culture is me being a black man, accepting my partner, and we walking side by side.
Wow.
Although I'm going to lead at times, she's going to lead at times as well,
Right.
but we're going to do this together. There's room in our vessel for growth, independent growth and dual growth.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to leave off at this.
You're doing good.
Okay.
I haven't interrupted you.
Okay. Now.
You start fucking up, I'm going to come right in.
Saves that for me.
Everyone is biting at the bit. Everyone's biting at the bit. Now, as we go in 2013, we have to know our foundation. Our foundation, because we became quote unquote civilized human beings in 1865. 1861 to 1865, we fought alongside our white soldiers. And we fought and we died. And we bled red just like them.
I saw the movie. It just came out. It won some awards.
No. We won't go there. But we have to know our genesis. Now, once we understand our genesis, we can appreciate the new foundation that we've created.
Wow.
Our foundation is not Lil Wayne jumping up and down, riding his skateboard, dropping dollars on these beautiful women.
Wow.
That's not our genesis. Our genesis is our new beginning, because 2% of people control 98% of the rest of America.
Wow.
And how do they control it? Wealth and perception.
It's belief.
No way it's
When you say perception, it's belief. It goes back to the quality of your thought changes the quality of your experience. You got people believing that they are nothing by accepting the status quo. I just want to make it through.
Status.
It's like diet God. You know what I mean?
God light.
Like I tell people, man, your thought process is a co-creator of your experience. If you think you are less, you will manifest less. That's all it is. Dr. Mark Goulston, this is what I need you to do for me. Because we talk about these currencies, and everybody appreciates the doc's perspective here. When I talk about currency, I'm talking about things that are of substantive value, spiritual substantive value. Doc, can you give me 2 or 3 valuable concepts or ideas or beliefs that trump how we feel about money in relationship?
I wrote a book a while back called The 6 Secrets of a Lasting Relationship, How to Fall in Love Again and Stay There, The 6 Secrets of a Lasting Relationship. And it follows the word create. How do you create love? And what create stands for? C stands for chemistry, which is passion in chemistry. R stands for respect. E stands for enjoyment. A stands for acceptance. T stands for trust. And the final E stands for empathy. And what the book was about is that when you fall in love, all of those are present, and then it's like a computer. You develop glitches, and you don't know how to have a conversation when the chemistry, the respect, the enjoyment, the acceptance, the trust, the empathy goes away. You start attacking the other person. So the book is all about coaching couples on how to say to someone, you know that thing you've been doing to me for 10 years that you think turns me on? It kind of turns me off.
Wow.
You know, so how do you have conversations like that so that you can bring things back? But I think those are part of the foundations of a lasting relationship, those 6 things.
How does anticipatory grief tear down a relationship from the inside out?
I'm not sure I really understand that, but I think if
you remember anticipatory grief, we talked about it before. There's an anticipatory disappointment. I was talking to this young lady. I'm afraid to get into a relationship. I'm afraid to go deep because I'm anticipating the disappointment of the abandonment.
So,
yes.
One of the things we talked about was anticipatory pushback. So one of the reasons people are often aggressive when no one's attacking them is they anticipate that someone's going to push back at them, and so they're becoming defensive. And the other person says, "What are you yelling at me?" And the person who's yelling is feeling defensive because they anticipate being pushed back because all they've ever been is pushback. Wow. And also, if you anticipate disappointment, then it's tough to hold on to hope that anything will ever work out. And so you kind of almost look for that one small thing to spoil everything, and then you hold on to that and you say, "See, I told me so," and you end up with nothing.
But is that not a creative factor, Doctor?
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're holding on to that, is that not?
Well, it's kind of what you were saying about belief. I think what happens is we perceive the world a certain way, and then it hardens into a belief, and then that belief hardens into a conclusion, and that conclusion becomes an action.
Wow. Geoff Brown?
I think...
Speak in the mic, Geoff. Be a professional.
I've been with my wife going on 4 years now. We have never, ever, ever had an argument ever, and not disagreement. I'm not going to have a vehement disagreement. Disagreements that start in one place and end in that same place. We have some of that, but what we have huge are standards that are bigger than either of us. There are standards that we just and neither one of us is at war with ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's a big thing, especially with a black woman. If you at war with yourself,
well, black men too. Let's just balance it out.
Well, I've never dated a black man. I can't come from that place. I'm telling you, the people I deal with. When I find we're not at war, she's not at war with herself, so she's not at war with me.
There's a good rule to follow there, because when you're in a relationship with someone early on, I think it's good to focus on the future that nobody has messed up yet. Because after someone's messed up, you're all just going to be reacting and defensive. And a really good thing to do when you're early in a relationship is to say, how do we have a difference of opinion and keep it from going into a disagreement and keep it going into an argument when nobody wins. So if you can say, going forward, how do we have differences of opinions without it turning nasty, and try and set that up early.
Wow. That's heavy.
That only works.
Geoff Brown?
That only works if a person is happy communicating outside of unhappy.
But you making such a great point. How many people, like what the doctor said, we can't even get to that point until somebody stops lying to themselves.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, we're dating mirror images of the real person.
Dude.
And we're not going to communicate effectively. I don't care how many skills you got if you're not in your authentic self.
I got married, and my ex-wife was a bigamist. And I didn't know it. She was already married to her anger and was just cheating on me with it.
Woo! Okay. McKinley! Damn! Damn, McKinley, go ahead, man.
That was a three-pointer.
Layman terms.
Yes.
Negative thoughts bring negative results. Layman terms.
That's it. That's it.
Means, if you go in, it's like if you see a woman and you sitting there looking at her and she see you and you walk over and the first thing out your mouth is, huh? That's the only thing
That's what we saying right now. Huh?
That's what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, that's how she gonna react, the same way. Go ahead, my man.
Wow. Bobby?
Well, the next word for the day is courage,
There's a currency.
Yeah. You have to have a certain amount of courage to meet somebody and admit that you like them. Wow. Like them enough to want to get to love them. Because we use these words that get us in trouble. I know I've been guilty of it because early in my relationship days, I would get coaxed into using the word love when actually that was a plea for sexual favor. And then once you arrive at that destination and you realize that's not the end of the journey, oh my God, man, now the ride begins, to the other side of hell, if you will. And it started with the fact that I wasn't being honest about what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And we have to really have the courage to tell somebody when we first meet them what it is that attracts us to them. Mm-hmm. And if it's the truth, man, it'll make them It'll make them moist. It'll make them warm.
Moist.
It'll make them
Dunking hands.
The way black men say moist.
Mega
He
moist.
left that eye hanging out there.
No, you heard the
making
oist. Oist.
making
Yeah, nigga moist. You understand? Little fluffy cake mix. It'll make a moist.
I shouldn't be ashamed. I shouldn't be ashamed of wanting to make somebody moist. I mean,
Moist. You understand?
tell a person that.
Girl, you look moist this evening, huh? Real moist. You feel me?
How you feeling hearing that word moist?
What that do to you?
Chuck Doe.
Huh? What that do to you? Huh?
Chuck Doe, is that word moist making you doughy?
Hey, a little doughy on the inside, huh? Huh? You little piece of chocolate cookie dough, huh? Moist than a motherfucker around this piece, yeah. I tell you, that's somebody's uncle right there, girl. Come here, huh? Just me telling you to come here make you moist.
Enjoy your moistness.
That's great. Can love and fear coexist in the same place at the same time? Frederick Hawthorne, go
Thank
deeper.
you. Love and fear has to exist and simultaneously because there's an equal paradigm. Now, if I love my mate, she's going to know my fears. And guess what? God has ordained her to help me subside my fears. Now, why would God create your soulmate and not allow you to meet him? That's you are entitled.
He done got deep. Shit.
It is an entitlement as a human being.
You're going to repeat that.
Why would God create your soulmate and not allow you to meet him? Wow. You are entitled as a God-created human being. I'm going to say the word entitled again. You are entitled as a God-fearing human being to meet your soulmate.
I gotta.
Doc, is that Doc or Bobby talking?
That was me.
That was Doc? Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah,
Your hand is over your mouth.
Because I don't think you can love and be afraid at the same moment in time.
That's what I think.
And the reason being is because love is a verb. Love is something you give. And when you're in a state of fear, you can't give because you're too busy protecting yourself from what you think you are about to receive. So I don't think at the same moment you can love someone and be afraid of them.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna interject and halfway disagree.
Either you're going to disagree or you're not going to disagree. You can't diet disagree.
Go moist on me.
Now, for the sake of this conversation, love and fear are equal opposites. So that means they're drawing from each other. The reason why I fear is because I know how to love. The reason why I love you so much is because I'm fearful of not loving you. Now, what I'm saying is you have to be able to love in order to know what fear is. Fear is what drives this society. Wow. I'm fear. I don't want to send my child to an inner city high school. I want to send them to a private school because I'm fearful of what's going to go on.
That was about as deep as a cupcake. Now,
Yeah.
go ahead, Jeff Brown.
That's about deep as a bunt cake pan.
Go ahead, Jeff.
The only reason I disagree with that is because I think we are qualifying love as a standard, an equal standard, and it ain't. Some people love just ain't shit. Okay? I do not believe for a second that Ike didn't love Tina. It's just his love comes with a left hook.
Wow.
Okay? Some people love. I don't believe that I was in a relationship with people who didn't love me. It's just that because of all that has happened to them and the way they have processed it, they have turned their love into horrible shit. And anytime they bring you have to be able to grade the love that you deserve by the love that you give. I grade, that is what I have finally found, and shout out, I'm sorry, baby, I've been bragging on you all the time. I have finally found a person who, one, loves wide open, and two, loves wide open with no shit in it. And that is when you both are there, sometime I think we just gonna burst into white light and disappear. It's that good.
And let me just say this. By definition, marriage is a contract. Contracts are built off of conditions. And the purest form of love is unconditional. Women love their children unconditionally, but suffer from conditional love with regards to the men who help make them. This by definition creates conflict and turmoil in the relationship. If we cannot love unconditionally, now this is where the fear comes. I have no control. Right? Well, listen, John 3:16, I don't want to be religious because I'm not, but I love this example. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. What did he do? He sacrificed his own son. It's a metaphor. Not that I actually believe it actually happened, but it's a beautiful and poignant and powerful metaphor. In order to love, there must be sacrifice. There must be sacrifice. And what are you sacrificing? You're sacrificing control, thus conditions. But most people are afraid to sacrifice the conditions because they believe the conditions will protect them. Well, most of those conditions are born from neuroses. I've been hurt, so now I got all of these conditions to protect the wound. You think you're healing yourself because you got all of these neurotic thoughts and behaviors. What you're actually doing is building a protective fort around a wound that keeps the wound alive. This is why we cannot love. Go deeper, Bobby.
Well, I'm back to fear. Until I confront my own personal fears, I don't get to experience the joy of what we call love. And I say that in this construct. I used to care about what other people thought to the extent that it influenced decisions I made about who I dated, who I'd be seen with, who I furthered a relationship with, who I married, because I cared about what other people thought. And, you wake up with a stranger. And it'll scare the hell out of you.
Wow.
It'll scare you to death. You wake up one and say, who is this?
Who the hell are you?
Yeah. And how did we get here?
I was the life raft you grabbed onto when you were in trouble.
No, it wasn't.
That's
them.
what happens, though.
It was me. I can't ever give anybody that power because that's how people end up being wedded for 50 years, but they never were happy. They never were really mates, but they were stuck by convention. So the honest question I had to ask myself was, am I willing to present anybody as my mate that's really not that person? Just so that other people say, oh, man, she's fine, or she's successful, or whatever, when I know damn well that's not really where my heart is, because I done woke up too many nights feeling like, who is this person laying next to me?
Wow.
And how do we end up in this situation? It looks good on the outside, but day to day, have I really accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish? Because I've been around some very successful couples in my life, some of them in my own family, and they were able to accomplish those things because they were mates.
Wow.
And it looked like it. My uncle used to tell me, if your shoes are too tight and you can't pull up on the lace, you ain't got to tell nobody. It's going to show on your face.
All right, so listen, let's do this. We've got 5 minutes left, and what I'd like to do is a quick round robin of everybody that's here and where people can find you, find your works, find your information, find what you're doing. But also, I had the caveat. Just give us one relationship currency that's more valuable than money, starting with Bobby Glanton. Bobby, talk to me.
Integrity. I think honesty is priceless, but it's also something we can't quantify.
Great. So where can we find you? Where do we get your stuff, your books, all of that?
You can find me at Bobby at realmendon'tplay.com is my email address. My website is www.realmendon'tplay.com, and that'll get me.
There it is. McKinley.
All right. You can find me at Blacks to the Max, BLAXTOTHEMAX.com. You can also, that's where you can go there and order my book. Pretty much.
That's it. Oh, don't forget tomorrow,
Wednesday, 5 to 6. I have a little show on, and I have a little special something for those who really truly want to get into it. I'm getting ready to start letting y'all who desire to learn some Kiswahili. That's what part of the show will be about. Free Kiswahili lessons, not from me, but from the CD. So
Jambo
come and check it out.
Uhaligani.
Nobody got any.
I'm new to this. I'm new to this technology thing, but I'm on Twitter at Glanton-Smith.
There we go. They're at Glanton-Smith. Get at the brother, because real men don't play. Frederick Hawthorne, author of Why Did I Sleep With Him? Go deeper. Where can we find you, brother?
Thank you. FredHawthorne.com, no funny spelling. You can also reach me on Facebook, Fred Hawthorne, and my book signing April 13th is in Whittier at Half Off Books. Feel free to come by. The book drops April 9th, but feel free to order it now, and I can send it out to you as soon as possible.
Somebody in the chat room said you look like Charlemagne the God and what's the guy? Frank Ocean came together and had a child. That's somebody said that. I just thought I
got my headband at home.
Damn, I just thought I'd share that.
But I want to leave with what one is truth. And what I want people to understand, don't be offended by truth in relationships. And truth builds integrity and trust in one another. Wow. So I want to leave people with that.
Wow. Dr. Mark Goulston.
MarkGoulston.com, MarkGoulston.com. And I think one currency is to just listen. I wrote a book on it. And one of the ways you know you've really listened to another person is when they exhale.
Wow. Go deeper. I need more of that. Go, Doc.
Well, most of the world is holding its breath, waiting for that person who cares enough about them in an unconditional way so that that person can feel safe. And when you feel safe, you exhale.
Wow. That's heavy. 32396. No, I can't give out the number. We about to leave. Okay. Geoff Brown, where do they find you?
Facebook and at the Geoff at GB Funny Style. Fearlessness is what I got to put.
Fearlessness.
Yes, and I got to put this out with something that's being said upstairs. With regard to perhaps my wife cheating on me. To me, the most cowardly love is the love that you give in the hopes that you won't get your heart broke.
Got it.
Love. If somebody fucks up, pure love, you're never the fool. They are. You know how hard it is to find pure love? I can find anybody to bullshit with me. Pure love's tough to find.
You know, every time you cheat on something with someone, that you're letting another person know how little you respect the person you're married to.
Wow. Great points.
Yeah.
Great points. Great show. Let me do this. Please get a copy of my book. I will sign it for you. I'll personalize it for you. Just email me at 2319zo1@gmail.com. That's how you get me, 2319zo1@gmail.com. Order my book. I'll send it out to you ASAP. And my two currencies, respect is number one. We must revere one another. We must value and respect one another. And number two, we must be receptive to positive, objective criticism of each other. We got to learn how to be more receptive. I appreciate everybody for coming in, joining the show. This was a heater. Get at us next week. 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. So What Mornings. We'll be back, and let's continue the conversation out in the web world. I'll be back next week. Holla at you. Peace.